He went from zero to over 1.1 million Instagram followers in just over 2 years. He went from zero to just over 400,000 TikTok followers in just over 2 years. And he went from 1 to 7 Medspas in those same 2 years. Who is this guy? Hey, it's Marco Pelosi III, and this is the Top Cosmetic Gynecologist Podcast. According to Tony Robbins, success leaves clues. And people who succeed at the highest level are doing things differently than everybody else. Today we're going to talk to Dr. Chad Deal, also known as Dr. High Def, cosmetic surgeon and entrepreneur from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Dr. Deal is here with us today to talk about the strategies and the tactics behind his success and how you can use these very same methods for your own practice. So, without further ado, here's Dr. Deal. Chad.
How are you, sir?
How are you?
Good. I see you're enjoying the outdoors there. I mean, this is pretty.
I thought the southerner would be out in the weather, and
it's right in front of me, and I can show you this beautiful view, Lookout Mountain. But here I went with the more traditional in the house view.
Obviously, you got two things going on that are really cool. You become a master of social media, yet at the same time, you're not just your typical social media guy, because now you've developed this spa business. So you really got two horses in this race, and they both seem to be doing really well. And I think a lot of people are going to be interested in either one or both of these things. You know, I know some people get intimidated by social media. Some people, they just don't do well in front of a camera. Some people just, they think they don't have ideas. And so for them, social media is like, go clean out the basement or something. And they're like, yeah, I can do that once in a while, but I really can't do it all the time.
Sure.
And they're probably going to have a whole lot of interest as your whole transformation. So, you started out as a doctor doing just regular doctorly things and evolved so many different times that, each phase is sort of, like a new platform to grow from. So I think all of that is going to make for a really interesting conversation, going to get a lot of people interested in what you have to offer and just, different paths that they can take so they don't feel like so much that they're stuck in the rut and that there's no way out.
Yeah. For sure. And I tell you, I get inspired when I do. I'm talking a lot this year. I guess 25 to 30 speaking engagements. Haven't done that since 2017 because I kind of looked inward and began to really grow my business. And on the things that I could see, the wave that was coming, particularly the med spa. We already saw a big push for minimally invasive, but the med spa I could see was about to become the new wave of aesthetics as far as profits are concerned. But when I talk to people, I try to back up and then back up from there and then back up from there. What is the real reason why people are even doing this? We want to have careers that we enjoy. We don't get nervous on Sunday that we have to go to work on Monday. And we want to make profits. But the weirdest thing, as doctors, it's shameful. And that's one of the first things I have to do is when I'm talking to people, I have to convince physicians that you're not a bad person to talk about making money. And we get that drilled in us from day one that, how dare we think about profits, right? We should be focused just on healthcare. Well, I do love healthcare, right? I love every bit of it. But we are convinced so far beyond, even in college it starts, and they drill it in a medical school, and even almost more so in residency. You're supposed to be solely focused on treating and diagnosing disease. How dare you think about having a successful business? So I spent a lot of time just kind of first, let's start there. Let's start about what's going to make you happy. And let's talk about profits. Let's talk about being with your family more. Let's talk about, how you're going to make your employees happy. And you mention these things, and you're very kind to mention those in these different times that I've kind of changed and, morphed or molded or leveled up, whatever you want to call it. But I kind of saw the next steps along the way. I was just waiting on the right time to do them. I love being a surgeon. I have wanted to do this, believe it or not, since I was 17. That sounds crazy, but I remember the moment I decided to be a cosmetic surgeon, and this is not going to be glorious. This is the absolute truth. This is not glorious at all. I remember sitting there, and I was in the restroom. This is the absolute truth. And I remember thinking to myself, okay, I'm very good with math and the biological sciences, physical sciences, but very, very good at math. And I thought, if all I really cared about was money, I'm just going to go be some hedge fund manager, move to New York, whatever, do Wall Street, and that's what I'll do. But I didn't think I'd enjoy it. And I thought, if I just want to be happy, I love to snow ski and I loved medicine. So I thought I'd be some kind of ski patrol medic, right? That's what I wanted to do. But I thought if I could really enjoy medicine, the only way I'd ever really enjoy it was to own my own business. When I looked at all the own fields that were the ones that interested me, I had some interest in ortho and neuro and aesthetics, not necessarily plastics in the world of reconstruction, but I did love plastics as far as aesthetics. I thought, which of these could I actually run my own business and be happy? And the clear answer was in aesthetics, right? And so when I said, okay, between a life that would make me happy and the ability to grow any business to any kind of sales that I wanted to, that didn't have a limit and have control over it, I made that decision right then and there. And I remember it, 17 years old. I said, I'm going to be and I said, in my mind, I said plastic surgeon, because that's what you think. You think aesthetics is plastic surgery when you're younger, right? And so we all are taught what that word meant. And that's what kind of started me on the journey. I legitimately, and you think, well, how could I even know anything about it? If you know anything about me, people think, silver spoon, that sort of thing. You look at somebody, make a judgment. I haven't seen my real father since I was about 4, right? My mom mostly raised us as single mom at military bases, fort to fort, all over the country. I had to make new friends every year to 2. And I don't say this like a sad story. I'm also not one of those people that I could easily come up with a pile of excuses of why something didn't work. I'm an optimistic person. I take every single thing that life throws at me, or you could say God throws at you, and I say, okay, look at how incredible my life is despite that. And I move on and keep fighting. And I've always said the one thing I don't want God to ever challenge me with is an illness with my children. I said, and that could happen. And I said, if God doesn't challenge me with that, I'm going to take anything else. But so far, all the challenges I have in my life, I've been lucky to have 2 healthy boys. And I had a mentor in my mom who grew up in medicine. She got her nursing degree while I was about being a single mom. She got her master's in nursing, all while being in the Army, by the way. She went back to school, got a master's in business. Then she got out of the Army, joined the Navy Reserves, so she could focus more on the administrative side, started working as a kind of a vice president position, what they call director of nursing in the hospital. Later on, got her doctorate in nursing. So now she's got a master's in business and a doctorate in nursing. And then she ultimately retired as a captain in the Navy Reserves. So extremely accomplished. And what I learned was the most important thing that I ever had in my life, my blessing, was that I had a mentor. Giving people things doesn't really do much. But showing them the way is everything, right? So I had a good mentor in my mom, and I saw, okay, if you really get it and you really want something and you go after it, you see so many memes like that, but people don't actually do it. They just get inspired by the memes and don't do anything, right? But for me, I took that to heart. And so I went from a kid that had like a 3.3 GPA in high school, and I played 4 sports and was kind of rowdy and just enjoying life like a typical high school student. And then I decided when I went to college, okay, time to get serious. And I went from a 3.3 to a 4.0 in valedictorian in my college. I didn't drink till I was 26, not because someone told me, because I felt like the only way for me to focus was to be able to never party, not drink. for me anyway. I'm not telling everyone that's their path. And I just set my sights like that. And I was very, very serious and very focused. So here I went from the kid, I was like the class clown. No one would have ever thought. It doesn't surprise you now. If I tell people I was the class clown in high school, they would not be surprised. But if you go back and tell my high school people that I was going to be valedictorian in my college, they would have thought, no way, not Chad Deal. No way. And then it's just amazing. That's what the time called for. And the self-control to do that. Went straight through, general surgery, because that was kind of means to an end to be able to get to my cosmetic fellowship. Went straight into my cosmetic fellowship. I did about 6 months of ER moonlighting just to make some money while I was building my practice. And I was a body person as a general surgeon. I got my cosmetic training full face and body, but I decided to focus on body because that's what I loved. I really just enjoyed body work. And that was in Vegas, the full year aesthetic fellowship with AACS. And then came back to Birmingham 6 months, my own private practice, and then joined in with another surgeon who focused on face here in Chattanooga. And that was it. And that's how Southern Surgical Arts was born. He actually already started Southern Surgical Arts before me, but later I had much bigger visions for it, took it over and have expanded it. Now we're, we're now 5 surgeons, 8 or 9 injectors, 6 estheticians, 7 locations of the Medspas. 2 of those are surgery centers. And we've got 3 letters of intent to be open before the end of the year, 2 more in Atlanta, and our first one in South Florida should be open before the end of the year. I feel like I'm moving slow, but being 44, people try to remind me, no, that's actually moving pretty fast. But I feel like I'm moving slow. I feel like I want to open a new location like literally every month that I want to have one open. But that's really the story of me. And I could fill it up with all sorts of things and turn it into a sad story, being the shortest kid in my class, not having seen my father since I was 4, kind of raising myself because my mom was around, not because she didn't love me, but because she was busy getting degrees and trying to provide for us. I was a thief, stole mostly from Walmart and gas stations. Those my stole Nintendo games and and I owe Walmart some money. But no, I had a good mentor. And so I feel like a lot of kids that grow up and do some things, they just were never really quite shown the way, which is why to me, the charity that I really believe in more than any of them is Big Brothers, Big Sisters. That is my charity that I believe in. I didn't experience that when I was a kid, but I think about it now about who didn't have at least a mom like I had as a mentor. Right. So that's my little big spiel. If you're ever going to give, that's a good charity, by the way. Make a difference in the life of a child, and that's a big one. But outside of that, now I'm going around and I'm training other doctors on how to run their med spas. I spend a lot of time training people in high def lipo, as people know me by my tag name on Instagram. Brazilian butt lift's been training for about 10 to 12 years on how to do those safely. I've been talking about fat transfers into the muscle and the buttock are dangerous. I said that 12 years ago in a meeting in Hawaii, which was kind of laughed off back then. Not because I knew that, but we already had that literature from Latin and South America. But a lot of American doctors had just started this procedure. And now it's like it's like all of a sudden now ASPS comes out a few years ago and says, hey, this is dangerous. Like we've all known that. And the literature has been out there. But a lot of surgical training and fat transfers, buttock, breast, high def lipo, like very, very common. Skin tightening devices, body type Renuvion, things like this. So many doctors in our office, it seems like every other week. And it's good and I love it. But really what excites me more in that is the minimally invasive side of the market, which is much more open to many different surgeons or any physicians of that manner, MD, DO, nurse practitioners. There is we have not even begun to see how much volume in sales and what the needs of the community, or at least I'd say wants of the community are when it comes to med spa. When I say med spa, I don't mean your typical spa doing things that are soft and pampering. I mean medically directed toxins, fillers, skin resurfacing, rejuvenating, fat killing, really powerful devices now actually finally work in the med spa, to the point where a lot of people are so satisfied with those results, they never even enter the operating room. And that is very powerful for your patients, very powerful financially for yourself and your employees. And that's a huge focus of my business right now, probably number one. Both me personally, what I'm doing, and I'm actually reproducing that for other physicians, showing them how to do that.
Now, we spoke at the ISCG World Congress a few months ago. You spoke, and I met your sidekick, who is a business, I guess, a former CEO.
Yeah.
Who really knows a lot about, I guess, the franchising or the expansion of the spa model.
Yeah.
So can you explain the basic staff structure of a typical spa that you have? You have how many now? 7 or 8?
Seven. Seven. And like I said, should be actually very confidently should be 10 by the end of the year. As far as make sure the build outs are done and having them open and running. But so Rebecca McMahon is a brilliant lady. She is a nuclear engineer and also has an MBA. She started out with Rolls-Royce, which a lot of people think Rolls-Royce, they think of the car, but of course Rolls-Royce is responsible for making a lot of engine components for mass, like planes have Rolls-Royce engines, right? From there, Alstom hired her. Alstom was the largest maker of nuclear components. So when someone wants to build a nuclear plant, they would actually make components, and that largest of those branches was right here in Chattanooga. It's like, I don't know, $300-400 million plant they built. Correct me if I'm wrong, but something like that. That was one of her lead projects. That's what brought her into my city. And I met her, and she wouldn't mind me saying I met her as a patient. She was so happy with not just the work, but the professionalism. We worked together. We ended up becoming good friends. Alstom ultimately was bought by General Electric, who moved her to Switzerland to help them build up a branch in Switzerland. She stayed there for 4 or 5 years and retired. She saw what I was doing in my expansion and how I was kind of moving along and things were going well. And I was doing pretty well, but she knew that she could be the jet fuel. And she understood corporate America and how to really scale. It's so hard. It's very easy in your 1 to 2 locations that you can go visit regularly. But when you begin to build locations that you're not even going to be able to visit but once a quarter, it is so extremely difficult to scale. It's a completely different model. What devices you choose, what products and services, how you build your staff, completely different. And I had to make so many mistakes, and she helped me along the way. And then boom, once you get that 3rd or 4th, when you don't even visit them that often, boom, right. Then it takes off. Then it really, really takes off. And we haven't franchised them out to anyone. We haven't even done a licensing agreement, though people have asked us to do that. And I've thought about it, but I'm so focused on just building them and owning them ourselves. And and I'm loving it, but I don't mind teaching people, right? There's some self-serving nature of that. I have our own group purchasing organization. So we teach people and they join our GPO, and it's great. And then other companies, they have devices that I absolutely love, and they know that I love them, so I can train people and show these other devices. So those companies do good, and then we can work with them. That's fine. But when I'm very honest about the companies I work with are the ones that I use. I've had many companies literally email me, call me and say, you're a great salesman. We want you to sell for us. Many offering lots of crazy commissions. And I've said, no, because they're not devices that I use. And unfortunately, and I don't blame anybody, this is not me blaming anybody, a lot of doctors will take that when you offer them a big whopping commission on selling device and speaking fee, they'll just jump on board. And they'll even represent devices that they don't even own. That's one of the funny things I talk about when I go, okay, every next time a doctor's up there telling you to buy such and such device and do this, ask them if they own one of them. Ask them if they own more than one of them. In fact, ask them if they do happen to own one, did they pay full price just like you're asking them to pay full price for it? Or did they get one for free and now they're going to speak for it, or get a massive discount, or they don't even own it? Because that bothers me ethically. You're telling our colleagues who you want to be successful to go invest in some very expensive piece of equipment, and they don't even own it themselves. So I have built a reputation, hopefully, that when my colleagues see me speak, they know that I'm speaking from the heart and I'm very honest. And if I'm up there talking about something, it's because I make a lot of money with it and I believe in the power of that service or that product.
Now, what do you think is the hottest new technology that you've seen in the non-surgical space that is spa friendly?
Yeah, that's a no-brainer right now. So 2021, I just knew about it. So it would have been the hottest in 21. It's definitely the hottest in 22. There's a device by a company called Benev, and it's called the Silpherm. I have never seen such face and neck lifting and brow lifting in my life in front of your face. You can literally do a treatment and you will literally watch a brow go up. So I'll do, just for fun, I'll do half of a forehead. You'll literally see one of the brows like this and the other one like this. It's extraordinary.
How does it
And
work?
I love showing doctors that, because doctors have never seen that before. And when doctors see it, they go, oh my gosh. So basically, it's a microneedling RF device, of which, I don't know, what are there, probably 15 to 20 on the market. But what they all have in common is a needle goes in, and at the tip of the needle, it does a tiny little sizzle. And we know that little sizzle, when that RF energy comes out, shrinks, it contracts, right? We all know we can take erbiums or CO2, so we can either coagulate or ablate, and we can really shrink faces and burn them like CO2s, but you got to be careful past the skin type 2. Maybe you can get away with a 3, maybe an erbium, you can go to a 3, maybe a 4, but your downtime is pretty rough. A week or weeks, depending on if you went fractional, how deep you went, how many watts you put in, these sorts of things. So the problem with these is they hurt so much, you need to be sedated. And then on top of that, who's got the time to give up a whole week of vacation to look burnt to a crisp? If you could go deep in the skin and burn deeply, but not burn the skin on the outside, there's no downtime. All these devices have been great. A device came out, finally went deep enough and powerful enough and was quick enough, called the Morpheus by InMode. Great device. Absolutely great device. However, sorry, there's some background noise. Like someone doing some yard work.
I've got an airplane flying overhead here.
Yeah. But it's only a burn at the tip of the needle. The magic about this one is, and they've been able to patent this until someone's able to copy it, the entire shaft of the needle is burning now. So from the tip all the way up, you're getting this huge column of skin contraction. Extraordinary contraction. But then the skin at the top, the epidermis, isn't burned. So you literally look fine that evening. Not a week later, not weeks later, that evening. Maybe moderately pink to red that night. The next morning, barely pink. So this product is extraordinary. We're able to do it comfortably enough with the numbing medicine, so most people all tolerate just fine. And then literally they come in, their brows are lifted, their face is lifted, their jaw lines up, their neck looks pulled, their acne scar, like literally the most powerful results I've ever seen. And it is becoming, it's so tolerable to this extent, and recovery is so quick. People are coming in like Botox. Like unlike a laser, right? We all have lasers in this field. How often does someone come in and get a fractional CO2 or fractional erbium? Right? Not that often. Even if you did something that was a little less invasive, let's say it's a lightly dusted erbium mixed with a diode, like the Halo was a very popular device and still is. Well, depending on how much you hit somebody, you're still going to have 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 days of downtime. This is legitimate zero with more powerful results. So we're getting people coming in every 3-4 months already, and it's growing. And our sales have been the highest net producing sales I've ever had in a med spa for any device, period, 12 years experience. So the name of the device is called the Silpherm. You know, technology changes so quickly, but I don't see anyone taking their throne for maybe the next 2-3 years unless someone can somehow be able to mimic this technology soon.
So you get about a 3 or 4 month result, or it's more than that?
I think, well, here's what's happening. You're going to get this chronic tightening of the skin, right? Every permanent result, or every result we get with CO2s and erbiums, I tell people to be as honest as I can, is semi-permanent, right? So you're always permanently better, right? If we're on a downward slope of aging, you're always permanently better than you would if you had not had the treatment.
Correct.
But you're not stopping aging. So we can stack and stack and stack and keep ourselves up. So if you keep up with it, you're just really keeping your skin young. Your brows are legitimately lifted. I cannot say that what we dreamed, we wished we'd ever had the Ulthera do. That was the dream of the Ulthera, which it never really quite did. Maybe had a few patients. Maybe a good chemical brow lift with a toxin, and you get that nice brow lift. You're getting as good a lift that you're getting with the toxin, but without having to use the toxin. Then you combine the toxin with this device, lights out. We're avoiding brow lifts completely, surgical brow lifts.
Phenomenal.
That's extraordinary. And there's a lot of promises made in this field by reps. When we walk around the trade shows and we see all the devices, it is impossible to see what's actually good and what's not. And this is where I work with, and that's why I actually came to the company. I said, I want to speak for y'all. I have people ask me to speak for them all the time, and I say, no, no, no. Your device is the best I've ever seen. I had to convince them. I was like giving them my resume. I was like, I'm a good speaker. I'm really good. People trust me because I'm not full of it. You got to believe me. And after some talking and them getting to know me, they said, okay, this is a great relationship. And now I've got events set up all over the country, speaking from the heart, not because a company came to me offering me a bunch of money.
That's exciting, man. That's very exciting. Now tell me, what else is a top seller in your spa? I mean, Botox and fillers, obviously.
So if
what
you
else?
really look at spas, remember, people typically come in for face first, body second. When you say face first, it's lines, reds, browns, but much more lines and sagging and volume depletion. So lines, toxins, sagging, you got to get something that's going to lift. The next is you're going to think reds and browns. So maybe like you always, if you look at that list, the ASPS is always a year or two behind when they publish the data because they have to get all the data, but they'll publish every year the top surgical procedures and the top non-surgical. But they're usually like in 2022 giving you 2020s, right? When you see it, but you'll see toxins, fillers, then like IPLs usually, but IPLs I think are about to take a big nosedive. But it's all your resurfacing lasers, right? That's there. Once you get past that hump, then maybe you're going to move on to something like fat reduction in the med spa. And so we have ours. We love our device, the Eon. Cryolipolysis, of course, Cool Sculpting has been the one most consistent device out there, and it does work. But we've all been looking for something a little better, something that doesn't cause a big suction zone. And I think we finally have it now, a device called the Eon. Still nothing's better than the operating room. But if you do a couple treatments with that thing and you happen to be in shape, it's just a bulge here or there, it works. Right. It works really well. I've seen it shrink pseudogynecomastia. I've seen it do it wonderful. It's approved for abdomen flanks, but I've been using it everywhere because I'm pretty happy with it. And then you go down the line. But there are devices, though, you got to think about that make you money, that don't make you money. That's indirect money. You got to have like a Zimmer chiller to get through a lot of uncomfortable procedures. You got to have a Pronox to get through uncomfortable procedures. You got to have a Visia skincare analysis because that really shows all the aging, reds, browns, the pores, wrinkles, and showing your true skin age. That helps you sell the other procedures. And then plus or minus, you got to have a hydrofacial. Hydrofacials do not make you money. I mean, if they do, it's so small, it's not worth your time, right? But what they do is they bring people into your spa. So for the investment for the machine, the serums, ongoing maintenance or warranties, whatever you want to call it, you got to have an esthetician who's going to spend 30 minutes to an hour with the provider. It's a long time. You know, there's a lot of pampering. By the time you pay all your commissions, the machine, everything, okay, you made $50, maybe $20. But it did have a patient come into your spa regularly who gets to see your other products and services.
Sure.
So I kind of have a love-hate relationship with them because they take your whole room up. They're in there for a while, but it does keep people coming in your doors.
Now,
go ahead.
What's the secret to getting a good team? I mean, you obviously have to staff this with good people. Otherwise, they're not going to be, schmoozing very well, or, God forbid, they're just not technically competent. Well, what's your process for that?
When it comes to training people, okay, first of all, and it's going to sound gimmicky, you're talking about getting your staff trained?
Yeah.
If I just say that the gimmicky word, train, and train more, that sounds okay, whatever. Okay, well, let me explain that and break that down. When people come in to train with us, first of all, we make them sign a contract. We make them sign a contract because this has happened too often that says, look, if I'm going to train you on, let's say, toxins and fillers, it's $50,000 college because we're going to spend a year to 18 months training you in the most beginning to high level techniques of toxins and fillers, including all the lasers and lights. At a minimum, it's a $50,000 education. A weekend course, they'll charge you $5,000, right? And we're going to be with you for a year and a half. So we make them sign a contract saying, if you don't, when we're done with the training, And we make them do so many of these. So we actually have a training log. They had to do this many of these, this many of these, this, and not just the machine, like hair removal on light skin type, hair removal on dark skin type. We have categories, and they get signed off by our senior people. When they're done, sign a contract that they're going to work for our company for 2 years. And should they leave, then they owe us the $50,000 back. Because if you don't do that, they'll come in, get the free training, and then not only will they leave you, they'll leave you and become your competition.
Yeah.
So there's way more. And this is the things I talk about. The doctors don't realize. You get them to sign that contract. You also should create their social media account and help begin promoting for them. You also should own their name. You let them own their name. You build up their name. You put money into campaigns. You take so much time to build them up. Then they take their name with them. They have their username and password. Now they've got your clientele. Now they've got your training, and then they set up shop across from you. Okay. It happens. Even, oh, Julie's so sweet. Julie would never do that to me. Trust me, Julie's already planning it. Okay. So you make her sign a contract, $50,000 is what she owes you for college. A non-compete contract with the largest bubble. You talk to your attorney that your region will provide that will reasonably be able to be defended. You then also in that make sure that you own the social media name. So if they leave and you create a name, like I just created the Skin Pixie, right? So one of our estheticians, she's about, I don't know, 4'10", very, very cute.
Right.
We call her the Skin Pixie. It's important to create a cute little name, something that matches the provider. But we own the name, not her, right? And that's important. And even though I think the world of her, just like that, all that hard work and the money and advertising money, and you pay social media people to create the content for her, they will take it all with them and leave. So the training isn't just the training, it's the setup. How do we, before we even get started on training that person, we go over all this contractual things with them, and it's yes or no, hit the high or no negotiating. Then we will take them in and go through a full list of all the didactics, everything we expect them to complete. And we'll literally have our master estheticians and master injectors, the ones who've been doing a long time, sign off on everything. Okay.
How many people say, Dr. Deal, that's too much, I'm not going to sign? How many of them just walk away?
We have had that. And then some of them came back and said, okay, fine, I'll sign. They thought that I needed them. So trust me, they need you a lot more than you need them.
Mm-hmm.
They need you more than you need them, particularly in certain states where they can't even do anything without a medical director. You also need to look at your state laws from state to state. It's very important. You need to know how many med spas can you own? Does the doctor need to be on site that day? What level of a provider can, as a doctor, like I believe in California, only the doctor can inject versus what could a nurse practitioner do? Like in Florida, it's very similar to Georgia, Tennessee, except for it has to be a nurse practitioner doing the injectables. Okay. So in Georgia, Tennessee, a nurse can, and the estheticians can run all the lasers and lights. You need to know your laws, and the best source of those laws is the organization AmSpa. Okay, the AmSpa organization keeps up with the laws in every state across the country. They make you pay for it. I understand they have to do the research. They deserve to be paid for that information. And you need to know in your state, because ignorance is not an excuse for breaking the law. They're going to expect you in every one of your states to know what your laws are in your med spas. So you need to know that.
Now, you have to do this process for all 10 of your spas, or is this something, how did you do that? That sounds like a lot of work.
So let's say I open a spa near me. It's easy. I can train them. But let's say I want to open up one in Atlanta. Well, now I have to recruit people that regionally can be close enough to go to Atlanta, or just recruit in Atlanta itself and have them move up and spend enough time with us before they move back down, right? So as you scale, like I said, scaling brings up other problems like training. One of the biggest problems with scaling is consistency of your products and services. Yeah. Remember, you only go, like, let's say you go to exit 57 and you see Joe's Coffee Shop and you see Starbucks. Now, Joe's Coffee Shop could be award-winning, the best coffee in the world. But why are you going to Starbucks? Because you know what you're going to get.
Sure.
You know when you order that flat white or that cappuccino, whatever it is, it's going to taste like you want it to taste, and you know exactly how you like it, and you're too busy to futz around finding out if Joe's coffee is good or not. You don't want to be messed with. Well, to get that level of consistency, people need to know that when they walk into each one of your locations, that they're going to have the same products and services, equal levels of care. It's going to smell the same. The colors are going to look the same. The setup is going to look the same. The prices are going to be the same. The specials are going to be the same. You cannot have location to location be different. which can be a challenge in the world of art aesthetics, because you got one injector may do it slightly different than another.
Yeah.
But, you know, Starbucks also has to understand one barista may be a little bit better than the other, which is why, by the way, most of their machines, they're making a lot of noises back there, but they're mostly just machines where they push a button. You think they're back there being the world's best barista. Now it's just a bunch of smoke and mirrors. You go back there, it's just like a one-touch machine, you know, because they have to have consistency of their product, right? So that's a big part of it. And, you know, if I really want to get into it, the social media has not only allowed me to grow the business in ways that seem obvious, like promote my surgery, promote my med spas, but it also makes it easier for me to recruit quality talent. It is so powerful. And you did mention at the beginning that some people are a little, you know, either nervous about it or they're turned off by it or they think that they're not capable of it. That's another barrier you have to break, because social media is like riding a bike. People don't just, you don't hop on a bike and ride a bike. You have to post every single day. And you don't have the time as a business owner and a surgeon or a medical doctor. You don't have the time to take care of your patients, diagnose, treat, do all the procedures, run the business, take care of payroll, like everything going on in your office, and be creative and think of a cool skit and set up the skit and film the skit and edit the skit and post it and then check all the comments and then reply back to the people watching you. You can't. So you have to hire that talented person in your office that does it all for you. They come up with the content, they create it, they set it up. It doesn't mean you can't get involved. And you say, well, I have a cool idea. Great. Be an idea guy. But you need someone in your office that their job is social media director. And when you get busy enough, they have another social media assistant. We now have 3 and we're hiring a 4th. Full time. That's all they do, social media.
Let's get into that. Now, tell me about, you know, Chad Deal before social media, and then Chad Deal, eyes opened up and he took the red pill. Tell me about that.
So for those out there that know me, like, oh my gosh, this guy's got 1.1 million followers on Instagram. He's got, I don't know, how do you even check TikTok, 300,000 plus on TikTok. Oh my gosh, this guy, he lives and breathes. He's only 44, so he got to grow up with social media. No, I had 0 social media in my life till about 2.5 years ago, not professionally and not personally. No Snapchat, no Facebook, no Instagram, no, all the way back to MySpace, no, nothing. I had nothing, not personally nor professionally. I just didn't ever see a point to like taking a picture of my food, you know, and sending it out to the world, or showing everyone what a fun time I'm having at a party. I was like, why would I ever do? I'm having too much fun at the party to take a picture of it. One of my biggest regrets is I'll have an amazing vacation and look back on my phone and realize I didn't take one photo all week because I'm so much in the moment, right? I could never post. Then some of my colleagues who I actually trained in surgery, particularly big shout out to Mark Lowney, who's known as Dr. Feelgood. I saw him take off in a way that I absolutely could not believe through social media. And he created this name, Dr. Feelgood, which, you know, he had a reason, story for that, which made sense. I thought it was so silly. I was like, oh, Mark, you're being so silly. And next thing you know, this guy goes from, you know, filling the schedule within the week to being booked out for a week, being booked out a couple weeks, a month, 3 months. And the guy's booked out like 15 months or more, 15 months or more in surgery. 2.5 years ago, I finally decided, I'm sitting there looking at the way things are going. I'm spending, at the height of my marketing budget, $1.3 million I'd spend on marketing. And I said, enough is enough. This is ridiculous. You know, I thought I can sing and dance as good as any of them. I can go on there and be silly and tell jokes. I said, fine, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to go hard. I'm going to just get after this, and I'm going to treat it like a job. I'm not just going to like, it's going to look like it's random. It's going to look like it's just, I'm this crazy guy, but it's going to be very, very designed behind the scenes, like Disney World. All characters out front, but it's a lot of work behind the curtains. And I set out first, created my media team, started with one social media person. I linked up with Dr. Miami, Michael Salzhauer, to get a little bit of a boost to begin with. And from there, I just took off. and went crazy with it. And now I follow trends. I look at media trends, things that are trending within the day, within the week, trending songs, trending skits, current events. I look at what people are interested in, how it relates. What about me is interesting? I love fitness. I'll talk about fitness, my boys, being a father, my big fat 30-pound cat. Obviously being a surgeon, obviously advertising the work that I do so that people can see that I'm proud of the results that we make consistently. So I'll always make sure I have those up. In fact, here's my rule. I have a 4-3 rule. I'll do 3 before and after posts every week if you'll actually look at it. And there's 4 fun media skits. Why? The fun media skits are going to continue to drive growth and attention of your channel. But you got to have the before and afters of your products and services so people realize this is what they do. So they come in for those. But if you're too heavy on just every day it's a before and after, you get a little bored, right? And if everything's a media skit, well, then what are you selling, right? You're just media, right? I mean, then you could make deals with companies, I guess, and do that sort of thing. So we really have studied it. I know exactly the most powerful time to post, 8:30 p.m. on a Monday night. And you think, well, that's random. It's not random at all. I got a lot of followers out there on the West Coast, right? So by the time the West Coast gets home and I'm on the East Coast, Eastern Standard Time, they got to get home just enough time. And they're probably not even home yet because of traffic, like in LA and all that. But at least I haven't populated down too far organically in their feed. So they're more likely to see my post. So Monday evenings, because you're a little bored, you can't wait to get to your Instagram. You went back to work. You're like, oh, you're sitting at the dinner table. You pull it up to get a little entertainment for the day. Monday evening at 8:30 is going to always be my strongest post. So I save some of the best posts always for Monday evenings. Okay. Yeah. So there's so many things like that that I could not possibly discuss. I could spend hours just talking about that. But again, when I do these lectures all over the country and I talk about the social media, domination and the Medspas mastery, a lot of what I'm telling you are little snippets of what I go over in a full day with people, sometimes a day and a half, to say, look, this is legitimate. I'm giving you gold, something that a marketing company is not giving you. A marketing company only wants you to tell you enough of how good they are, right? How good the marketing company is so they can get you to sign up with the marketing company.
Sure.
That's it. No offense to marketing companies, but I'm going to just say this straight. I think that in marketing companies, the best thing they do is market to you. They're way better at marketing to you than they are marketing you to your patients. If they were so good, right, it'd be sky the limit, sky the limit. I've used several, and they were so good about convincing me how good they were and how good that work they were doing for me. The more I turned over my company to a marketing agency, the worse my sales got. And when I completely turned it over, horrible year, almost no growth. In fact, negative growth in some areas, right? And that's when it was in that year that I said, I've got to do something, 1.3 million. I've got to go with my gut and take over this. Everyone's saying doctors are so dumb. We don't think about running a business. We don't think about marketing, anything else. I said, forget that. I'm going to go with my gut and I'm going to charge hard and I'm going to do this. Voila. 1.1 million followers. And now I'm booked out, 7-8 months, something like that.
Now, how long did it take before you made this commitment until you started to see results? And what results did you see? I know some people say you can get followers, but it doesn't necessarily translate to business. But yeah, it seems like you're experiencing the opposite.
Yeah, so there's different ways to do it. Like you can just capture followers, and it's not bad to do some celebrity co-op campaigns to get in front of people, right? You can do celebrity campaigns and actually get a bunch of followers, but let me explain what that's like. If you ever saw an ad for another show on another show, that's all it is.
Yeah.
So if you take a popular show, The Simpsons or whatever, I don't know, take a show and they're going to have commercials. One of those commercials may be for another new show because they want you to watch that show. So when you do a celebrity co-op campaign, like let's say Nicki Minaj is coming out, she's going to give away a brand new Rolls Royce or I don't know, something crazy, a Mercedes or something. Then you can sign up with her for a lot of money, $10,000, $15,000 to be one of those giveaways. So people enter the giveaway by following you. She's got many, many millions of followers. And instantly overnight, you've got 30, 40,000 new followers, right? Seems great. But if you don't have a lot of quality content ready to go to entertain them, they'll immediately unfollow you. But if you do have good quality content and you're a hidden gem, right? And if only people could see how funny and entertaining and educational, how good your work is, they're going to keep following you, right? So one of the ways to boost and get in front is have the quality content and just keep producing it. Let your channel begin to populate. So you got multiple tiles. I'm just talking about Instagram right now, right? And it's built up. Then when people go to your channel, they go, some interesting stuff. And then you do something funny here, there. And at the time of the contest, always have 2 or 3 great ready to go posts every 24 hours on the dot, ready to go. And after 2 or 3, you're like, I'm gonna keep following that person. That guy's funny. I'm learning some stuff. This guy's crazy. Okay. So you actually then maybe you got an initial 60,000, and versus all 60,000 going away and being left with 200, you actually kept 20,000 new followers. That's a good way to get an initial boost. Now you can get videos to go viral. Like I had one that got, I think that right now it's up to 40 million views on TikTok, right? And I got featured on E! Entertainment. So eventually, if you keep posting and doing funny things, you're just going to have by the luck. Hard work too, right? Luck is kind of a little bit of hard work, right? Luck kind of happens that way. And you're going to have that video that just takes off. The thing is, people fail on social media because they try to do it themselves versus getting someone to do this. So it becomes exhausting part of your day. You're tired at the end of the day and you haven't done a skit and now like, oh, I got to do it. And you just begin to present it versus pencil it down on the schedule. Patient, surgery block, social media hour. It's got to become part of your schedule. Excuse me, I have a cat's walking around. Love my cats, but I still allergic. And the last part is they don't keep with it. They'll post for a month, maybe into the second, and they go, I'm just not growing. Forget this stuff. You got to keep at it. There's one of my fellows right now who's going to be graduating here in a month. And I've told a couple fellows, and one of them in particular has really been posting a lot consistently. I said, listen to me. Think I'm wrong, fine. Say I'm full of it, be annoyed, but just do what I tell you to do. Post every single day. Be creative. What's cool about you? Well, you're a dad. Talk about your kids. You're also in training. People would love to see what it's like, a day in the life of somebody training. Okay. So talk about cosmetic surgery. Talk about what it's like to be trained. Talk about being a dad and balancing that with work. Also follow the skits and the trends. Show people your personality, the things that you like. He has started doing that and kept going and nothing. Next thing you know, he's regularly getting 500 views, regularly 1,000 views, regularly a couple thousand. He's literally not even done with his fellowship, and he's only been posting now strong for about 2 to 3 months, and he's consistently getting 5 to 10,000 views a post, and he's not even done with his fellowship. So I'm trying to tell people, look, this guy's a perfect example. He gets to see, now he gets the encouragement of being in there with a mentor.
Sure.
Every day and seeing what I do. Okay. And he has my team, right? I got a social media team, but you can create that team. Get a young, talented, get someone that posts every day on their social media that they've got 10, 15,000 followers. They understand it. They know the trends, and let them do what they do and stick with it. Keep going. And all of a sudden, funny things happen.
Right.
It goes a little further and it goes a little further.
Now tell me, how do you find the social media team? I'm sure a lot of people that are listening to this scratching their heads. They go on the internet and they just get a flood of people who say they're the greatest.
Sure. Well, okay, let me say right now I get to be a little spoiled because success begets success, right? So I can post on my channel that I want someone, but that's not fair for people listening. How did I get started? Simple. I looked in my own community. Who are the influencers in my community? Who are the people that already have many thousands of followers? I look at their channel. Were they posting every day? Were they creative? Did they know how to use graphics, right? Was it just them talking? Did they have those? So yes, a graphical design in the background is good, but you don't necessarily have to have that. People now, they can take their phone and they could just learn with a few apps how to do graphics. Here's a good test. So not only will I like do like an Indeed post and say looking for a social media director in this, and I'll look out in the community and I'll get several candidates to interview, maybe 10, 15. Okay.
Yeah.
Give them a bunch of footage. Okay. Give them, and when you say B-roll, meaning it's just a bunch of footage. A lot of people don't know if everyone knows what B-roll means. You got a footage of the office here, footage of this, footage of me operating here, footage of me coming in and out. Oh, I drive a Ferrari. Great. Get a picture of me coming in and out of the Ferrari. That's not narcissistic. It's kind of cool for the video. Okay. Get all that footage, hand it to them. And you ask them to not come back on Monday with a video. You ask them to go to lunch and come back with a video, because you don't want somebody that can produce an amazing 10 out of 10 video in a week. You want someone that can produce an 8 out of 10 video in 2 to 3 hours. Okay. Social media isn't about the most incredible high production, whatever value. It's about, can you take the items around you, the apps on a phone, knowing the trends, knowing the cool songs to add to it, and make a fun video in 2 to 3 hours. That's who you want. So right now, I don't know what our count is at. It's somewhere close to 15 channels that we have between our injectors and our estheticians and our doctors. And I call them channels. Our network is Instagram. Another one of our networks is YouTube. Another network is TikTok. And on those networks, you can create as many free channels as you want. And I make every provider, so someone that does a product or service on the patient, I make all of them have a channel.
So you would say those are the best 3 channels, or the top 3 that most people should focus on?
So if you're looking at the different ones right now, depending on what products and services you offer, I would say this. Facebook can still very powerful for people getting facial procedures. Okay. So facial surgical procedures, just because of age bracket. Instagram is still kind of the king, but it's about to be taken down by TikTok. TikTok is extremely more popular than Instagram, but it's not as, they don't just convert into surgery. It's still more entertaining. As far as the amount of followers per gets you surgery leads or leads in your med spa, I'd still put Instagram number 1. It's easier to focus on body procedures on Instagram. I'd say face better on Facebook. No pun intended there, but it's just based on age brackets.
Sure.
But TikTok is interesting in that it's all ages. YouTube is also kind of all ages. YouTube's better if you want to have a long video and do a long explanation, but you're only going to long videos are only going to be watched by people maybe mid 50s and up, definitely 60s and up. Anyone younger, your clips need to be definitely less than a minute. And if you really want the video to be good, 6 to 12 seconds. People have the youth have an attention span that is extremely fleeting. And if you start a video like this, hello, my name is Dr. Chad Deal. I'm owner of Southern Surgical Arts. And I'd like to tell you about the most incredible device I've ever seen in a med spa. So let me they've already flipped. And that's me being reasonably good saying that off the cuff. Right? Instead, the first thing you're going to see is a before and after of a face that just, before you're flipping, all of a sudden before, after, it was like incredible. Like, what the heck? And I come and I go, and I'm like, that was without surgery. You're not going to believe it, but you can have that result now with no surgery. Listen how. You see the difference?
Yeah, it's shock and awe. It gets your attention.
Yeah. Clickbait. Or a beautiful song that was playing right before it. Again, this is part of everything I'm saying. I know people might be taking notes. We do these courses. They're called Med Spa Mastery and Social Media Domination. We're doing them throughout the country right now, probably over the next couple of years. I've got about 20 events, I guess, left this year. So I can maybe help post those, and they're sponsored and paid for. These are lectures that we give, like $10,000. That's how I monetize it. Obviously, there's something in it for me, but Nev has paid for it because they know that my favorite device truly is that Silver. So they're like, we love it. He's going to tell everyone that that's his favorite device and do the demo and show people. So we'll pay for his lecture, which gets people excited because they're going to really want to come to see that. And then people can see the device and go, wow, he's making a ton of money. And they can see Brad. They go, okay, that's an awesome device. That's one I need to get. Everybody wins. Doctors actually get good devices. The company wins. So they paid for it. Right. So this is how we're doing it. So we'll post it. And a lot of what I'm saying in much more detail, I can go over. And actually, I know we mentioned the day I'd love to do something with you, because you specifically, of all the physicians, around the world, specifically have a great outreach within the OBGYN community. And I would love to be able to have a nice, fun med spa. And I would love for you to do that, to open that up and say, look, for those of you out there that are focusing, you've really got a hold of your surgical part, but you'd love to be able to grow your med spa and it's not quite making the money. I know that we can create some great success in the right ways. Not this. You go to it. Everyone's got a great device. They're full of it. Or a before and after that's just swelling, or good lighting afterwards, and they're full of it. Or a marketing company that just wants you to give them a lot of money every month. Now, we can do it in a way, and because yes, there's obviously going to be something in it for me. These lectures Benev pays for, and these devices I absolutely love, but it's truly from the heart. And then I go more to detail about all of that. But don't be discouraged by social media. People need to get at it, and they need to get that person. They need to do it. They need to keep trotting, and you need to open up. I'd highly recommend Instagram. I'd highly recommend TikTok. Yes, you got to sometimes, if you really want something to really pop, people say, I got to be a dancing doctor. No, you don't have to be a dancing doctor, but it doesn't hurt if you just want to be a little silly, dance with your dog, with your cat, dance with your staff member, dance with your daughter, with your son. Life, don't take it so seriously. Laugh a little. People like to see that you're human. They want to know your personality. They're going to be more likely to come to you if they see that.
How does your family view your social media? Because some of that stuff is outrageous. You're dancing with breast implants. You're dancing with no clothes on sometimes, just running around all over.
Oh, man. So I told my son, so I have two boys that tell me they're younger, right? Because I've been doing it now 2 years. And I told them, this is totally true. I told them, I said, I got the phone, and I should actually show this. I should show this one day on the video. I told my son, I said, hey, Christian, I've decided Christian's my youngest. So he just got his driver's license 15. So he's 13. I said, Christian, I've decided to become famous. And he said, what? You can't decide to become famous. I said, no. Being famous apparently can help you grow a business. So I've decided to become famous. And he said, okay, yeah, whatever, Dad. And I told him, I said, okay, now watch, here's what I'm going to do. And I studied it just like I studied medicine and just like I studied in college to get that 4.0. I studied it. I watched it. I watched what accounts were popular. Why were they popular? Of course, people that were famous actors and actresses or singers are going to be popular. Forget those people. They're famous already. Who were the people that came out of nowhere? What made them famous? How do they post? When do they post? What is this clickbait thing? Oh, they're putting something exceptional at the beginning. Look at the timing. Oh, they're partnering with other celebrities. I was looking at all of this and studying it. And I was like, all right, I could do this. That's like, and then I said, I'm going to crank it up even another notch because I can dance. I can, I can't sing for anything. You don't want to hear me sing, but I can dance and I'll have a little fun with it and come up with these creative skits. And sure enough, it was taken off till one day. My son said, you're not famous until you're verified. And I got verified. You're not famous till you get this many followers, half a million, whatever. And I got it. And he said, all right, Dad, I will tell you you're famous the minute we're out in public and someone recognizes you as Dr. Haidab. And that's all right, fine. I'm in Miami at a sushi restaurant, so I live in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And this table with maybe 3 ladies sitting right behind us. We just sat down. And as I walk by, they kind of look at me and they kind of point. And say, hey, excuse me, but are you that doctor, like high def, whatever? And I said, oh, well. And both my boys were at the table. And it was literally just me and my boys right there. And I said, and I pulled my chair back. I said, point of fact, I am. Can I help y'all? And I was just reveling in this. And then I came back to the table and I was like, well, Christian, and I got my phone out. I think there's something you need to tell me. And I recorded him saying, okay, you're famous. And of course, I'm not famous, but the point I was trying to make was you can do this. You can get a hold of it. You can study it just like we do anything else, all the science. I mean, how much work does it take to become a doctor? My gosh. You have to do well enough in high school to get into medical school or to get to a decent college. Then you got to do well enough in college on your MCAT, a lot of studying to get into medical school. Then you got all the studying of medical school. And you got USMLE 1, 2, and 3. Then you've got your residency you have to complete. Then you got your board certification, that residency. And then in this field, you can go do a whole nother year training in aesthetics and have your certification for that. It is forever. Trust me, you can study social media and do it.
Now, would you say that there's no need for paid advertising if you have a strong social media?
I'm going to say if you have a strong social media, there's absolutely no need right now, in the last year, the year before that, maybe the 4 years prior to that. So maybe the last 6 years is what I would say. No need. But one of the things you have to realize is times change constantly.
Sure.
Be prepared for the next thing. Is it going to be the metaverse? I don't know. Be hungry, stay sharp. Doesn't mean you can't enjoy life.
Yeah.
But if you're really the signature person in your company meant to drive it, you're not already out just enjoying, you got enough money, you got someone else driving it, and you're just putting your money more passively, maybe in properties or real estate or stock market. If you're the driving force, you need to stay sharp, see what's relevant. What works this year may not work next year. So we follow that. And I see TikTok doing this and Instagram doing this. Instagram is, don't get me wrong, invest in Instagram. It's huge. That doesn't mean no. I'm just saying I'm seeing TikTok being the most popular. In fact, you could go to Google YouTube, and you could type into YouTube. There's a graph over time that shows the growth. It's pretty cool. It's a whole channel that does this. You could type in the growth of social media channels over time, and it shows you over the years, them all changing, right? Actually, I think the graph is sideways, and it shows you like this, and you see TikTok literally on the path to destroy them all right now. You can just type in there, and people can watch that, and it will shock you. That'll give you a good idea of where all these channels are at.
I've heard that, the favorite demographic, that likes a particular channel, as they get older, they stay on that channel. So it just grows with them.
It's true. It's true. Somehow TikTok broke through and became a channel that everyone from age 3 to 4, the minute they can manipulate an iPhone, all the way up to people in 60s and 70s. It is extraordinary. TikTok has captured every age group. People literally go home. It's so funny. Ask how many people have cable TV anymore. Most people don't have cable. Then you ask, only a few people maybe have Netflix or Hulu. Most people now don't have Netflix, Hulu, or cable TV. They have this.
Oh, yeah.
And at the end of the day, they pull up YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. They get all their entertainment and news from here, right? They may pull up ESPN.com. They may pull up CNN or Fox News. They may go through YouTube, right, and have their channels. This is where people are until they go to bed, okay? So if you're advertising on that TV above me on cable, boy, you're behind. Boy, you are behind. Now, you may get a lot of facelifts and neck lifts still, right? And I don't mean that as a disrespect, but it is what it is, the demographics and who's still watching TV. But if you ask people in a room, get a big room with 100, 200 people and have everyone raise their hand, say, who here still has cable TV? It'll be 60s and above, some in the 50s, and only a few in their 40s. I still have cable, but I've stopped watching it 2 years ago. I'm 44. I have it because it's part of a big internet package and all that, and you just get it all. But I can tell you, outside of like turning on a sporting event, maybe the news, maybe Discovery Channel, I don't know, something like that, that's a show that still entertains me, I'm on here the whole time. I'm 44.
You know what cracks me up here? Here we are, two doctors talking about business, the business of medicine, and we haven't mentioned medicine once. Yeah. But it's so much more impactful and important to the practice of medicine to have a business of medicine that's on the right track. And I think that what you're bringing out here is going to be not just an inspiration, but sort of like a beacon for people to say, this is the direction my thinking should be going in. So,
well, we have access to a traditional healthcare system that gives us extraordinary content to diagnose and treat disease, right? It's there for us to learn how to be good practitioners, surgeons. We don't have that knowledge to be good business people, right? And then unfortunately, it's worse than that. We have a lot of people who want to make money off of us, who then just tell us what we need to be doing because it really benefits them. And they need to eke out only enough profit for us that they can prove to continue to give them money. And the ones that are really doing well are them. You know much. Here's a good thing. What do you make? Okay, now look, I've done well. I've been successful. Fine. I'm very happy. Fine. I'm sure, Dr. Pelosi, I'm sure you're happy. You're well known. You and your family, hardworking, be able to build a wonderful teaching facility, do great work for a long time. Let's take the average surgeon out there doing this and what they're making. For them right now, say, whoever's watching this, what do you get to actually net take home every year? Now, think about this. Go ask a rep for any device that comes in your office what they make per year. Somebody with a high school education is making double, triple, or quadruple your income, okay? Because they're selling this laser or light and the massive commissions that they get from it. Are you kidding me? No, I'm not. Find out. See if you become close enough friend that they'll actually tell you how much they make. Now, I'm not being mean to reps. I have so many friends that are reps, but I'm talking legitimately somebody with a high school education who is just dynamic, maybe also very good looking, and they can sell, and they're quadrupling your income, and you've got MD or DO behind your name and all those years of hard work, and you have to deal with all the complications that they also never have to deal with, and lawsuits and all these things. So I guess what I'm trying to say is we do have access to that medical, but we don't seem to have much access to honest information to how to truly grow your practices and be happy. Not just things that put money in the bank, but things that don't come with a lot of headache, complications that we're going to worry about what we've done to our patient. Complications that are forgiving, that if I do get a little bit of a brow that's low, I can always fix that and adjust the Botox, versus a complication like permanently stimulating melasma in someone's skin for the rest of their life. They have to deal with it. You need to know which of your devices can cause life-altering complications versus which ones are just minimal that you can take care of. The rep's not going to tell you that. They need to sell the machine, right? I'm not trying to be mean to the rep. I have a lot of friends that are reps. I'm friendly to the reps. But you need to hear it from someone who's been through the fire, right? And someone who's been successful. And again, I encourage people, listen to people who've been beaten down and come out. And I have a lot of friends academically, written textbooks and those sorts of things, but someone who's gotten their fame from academic position in a major institution, hospital, university, written books. Many of them don't know the first thing about running a med spa or even a successful surgical practice when you're all patient pay, when the majority of them are coming into them because of the university referrals or insurance. Okay. Yet they're giving the lectures because they're Dr. Blank of blank, blank university. Think about it. Right? Success follows success.
Great words, my friend. It's been phenomenal. I knew it would be. It's been illuminating, and this is almost like the trailer for a much bigger engagement for the audience. And I know, and you know, that we're not kidding, and that there's stuff probably coming down the pipes fairly soon for this audience that's into these topics. Yeah. So for now, how can people reach you most effectively who are interested in in everything we've been talking about?
I would say don't call the office. Okay. If you want to direct message me, because I have a team social media that gets a hold of me within the minute almost. So if they'll direct message my social media channel, so it's drhighdef.ssa. I always put the .ssa because my company is Southern Surgical Arts. So it's DRHIDEF, Dr. High Def. If you type it in search, you'll see it probably pops up because fortunately getting verified populates it up, but you'll see drhighdef.ssa. And if you want to direct message, just follow, it's open, and then direct message and say, hey, I'm a physician here. I'm a PA. I'm a nurse practitioner. I don't care where your background training is. My name is Chad, right? I'm not narcissistic about all that stuff. I'm very approachable. I work very hard during the day. So the best time sometimes for me to get back with people is in the evenings or on the weekends. So please give me some time. But if you do the direct message through that, and you said that you are really interested and you want to learn this stuff, man, I'm in. I love to teach. We teach 3 fellows every year through the academy. So what I do, I get enormous satisfaction out of this. So just reach out to me and I will get back to you.
Phenomenal, man. Thank you for your time. And I'm sure I'll see you very, very soon.
You got it, brother. Good to talk to you.
All right. That was good. That was excellent, man.